So I think it's just really special to have this intergenerational, intertribal mix of all of us being here today.
Identifying as Two-Spirit means everything to me, because even becoming a young adult, like, I did not resonate with like gay or lesbian. It was just like, I am who I am. I love who I love. When I heard that term, something just resonated with me.
An elder of mine always says that everyone has their own definition of Two-Spirit.
Being Two-Spirit feels like walking with my man spirit and my woman spirit every day.
My tribe actually doesn't even have a word for it. We don't have a word for it.
There's this misconception that Two-Spirit just means gay Indians, and that's not the case. Two-Spirit is inextricably linked to being Native. It's not just bigender, it's not non-binary. There are many different ways of identifying under the Two-Spirit umbrella, because it is an umbrella of over 500 different nations, ways of being. My name is Raven Two Feathers, and I am Two-Spirit and Transmasc.
In your own words, what does identifying as a Two-Spirit mean to you?
It is that embodiment of the masculine and the feminine, and that I'm able to move between worlds and help people communicate amongst one another. Two-Spirit is from the Anishinaabe term Nij Manitowoc, which literally means two spirits. It is a great umbrella term for the over 500 federally recognized tribes to be able to describe their different gender roles and sexualities in this modern way. There is a very heavy historical presence of violence against Two-Spirit people because we were typically the ones who you would come to, whether it was for medicine, for negotiations, etc. And so to see that we're finally re-emerging and taking our rightful place in the circle, in our communities, it is amazing to see that we're coming back, and really, we never left. Two-Spirit people historically have always been the ones who were first targeted by colonialist, how would I put this?
And we say targeted, but how do you mean, in what way?
Okay. We'll go there. So Two-Spirit people have always been the one that colonizers have killed, maimed, driven underground first. Because Two-Spirit people were driven underground, there was this occasional assumption made within communities that, you know, there was something wrong about that, and mix that with forcing religion upon folks and forcing people onto reservations. There was this sort of compounding issue of Two-Spirit being associated with something that needs to be hidden rather than the necessity to hide to survive. I really do credit the elders for being able to share the wisdom of what we have always known to be true, that Two-Spirit people are welcome and accepted across the continent. These over 500 years that colonization has been occurring, it's a blip in our existence.
Basic game. But we all have our different songs from all over the freaking place.
Growing up, I always knew that I was queer, but I didn't always have the language for it, and so growing up I was very much butch dyke, tomboy, and there were aspects of that where I was like, I really feel this and I know this to be true for myself, and also there's something else here that I don't really know what's happening and I don't have words for it, and no one else around me seems to have words for it. Growing up as being socialized as a girl, there were some things that were really challenging and really hard and not great, but there were also a lot of really good things and really lovely things. And so for me and my experience, why I relate to the concept of Two-Spiritness so much is because it just feels like I am adding more things into the pot of soup that I am, right? We're not taking out any ingredients, we're just like adding and layering, and everything underneath is still there. It feels very expansive in a very lovely and confusing and amazing way.
That's just a photo of me and my mom, and I feel like it's really indicative of my childhood.
And when did you first begin to understand your identity as a two-spirit?
At first, when I was starting to realize who I was, it was incredibly ethereal. I did a comic called Qualifications of Being. That came out of a conversation of how to boil down this 2.5 decades of experiencing my life and realizations about being trans, about being two-spirit. So at that point I knew there was something different, but I didn't quite know or have the words for it. I'm not like how I quote-unquote should be, how I saw everyone else growing up, girls who really were into puberty and would be jealous of how big my boobs were. At that point, I started doing more research about trans folks, and then I realized, oh, I'm identifying a little bit too much with these trans folks that I'm trying to be a good ally towards. And then for as far as realizing when I was two-spirit, it was only because of my willingness to be out and to be around good people and good family that were able to connect me to different two-spirit people and organizations that I was able to realize my place.
There's a part of the comic that shows you, I guess, debating whether or not to attend this two-spirit dinner.
I was initially super afraid of stepping into this two-spirit dinner that was being hosted at a local org. And it was that fear of what might come to be, but it's always that initial hesitation of, will you be accepted? And that, you know, when you have a very small community, it can feel big. Going to that two-spirit dinner was the first time that I was really able to connect with other two-spirits and feel accepted and welcome, and like I had people like me around me, and that we're not all gone. Just having that initial dinner and being able to attend that made me so much more confident in being able to be who I am and to know that I have a place. This revitalization and reemergence of two-spirit really makes me realize not only the responsibility of who I am, but the joy in being able to be with community and be connected to one another in a way that I can help other people not only see who they might be, but see the interconnectedness between us all.
When I grew up in the 60s and 70s, we weren't supported at all. You know, you couldn't reveal who you were, because if you did, then you just got harassed. My first girlfriend, we were like in the late 70s, and we were both feminine. I was honest with my parents because they raised me to be honest. So I told them, and they disowned me. The day before my mother passed away, her and I had a really, really long talk. And she told me, I don't understand it, Denise, but I accept it. You are who you are, and I can't change you. Before my father passed away, he came to me in a dream one night and he said, Denise, you gotta let me go. In the dream, he was holding my hand. It was almost like I was a little girl. So we get to this side of a building, and there's a stairway that goes up, and then it turns zigzags to the left. And her whole family was there, and I hadn't even met her yet. They were on both sides of the steps, and they were in their regalia, and they were drumming and singing to me. And he said, this is your family now. You don't belong to me anymore. They are your family now. Then I met her a month later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
34 years.
Like, what does it mean to be Two-Spirit for you?
My tribe actually doesn't even have a word for it. We don't have a word for it. It was not a question. You made a choice about yourself, and that's the way it was. When I was younger, especially, we'd be running around, and one of our aunts that we really loved came home from an operation, and we were told to call her Uncle now. You know, and we understood, same old, just the way it is. You know, there isn't any like big question about it. And Aunt Mari became like a very revered elder on our reservation, without any like question about her identity. Once I got into school with around white kids, that's when it became PTSD time. You know, it's only when I got to Eugene, was in school with Christian scaredy cat white kids, that all of a sudden I was a threat. All of a sudden I wasn't normal. I don't even know how gay I am. I just found the right person. You know, we just found the right person.
I feel really lucky to be trans-masc and Two-Spirit because we're able to pull from masculine and feminine. Just being able to be with one another right now and being able to share our sorrows, joys, and daily life is what gives me hope for the future.
It's important that, especially for our kiddos, like I always try to remind my kids, because they've met partners of mine, and I'm like, yeah, there's relationships can look all different ways, and you know, this is just about, these are just people that we love and care about and want to have deep relationships with.
I honor all of you for sharing these thoughts with me and sharing your ways, so I could pass it to my grandkids and my great-grandkids.
I hope that folks remember to ground themselves in who they are and what they need, and that they will not be alone. There are times where you will feel alone, but that's never really the case. Just like for the past 500 years, we have and we always will be here. It's just one step at a time.